Show, episode 216, where we talk book news, author news, literary news. I'm Eric Mickles.
I'm Nick Gunning. We're coming to you live from the David A. Howe Public Library.
Save it. Save all that banter.
I'm sorry.
I have to edit this as soon as we're done.
I just want the nice people to know.
Don't. I'm going to have to cut all this out now.
All right. Eric's in a mood because he's on a deadline. He's on a tight deadline here,
Schedule.
so we really no lag time.
Yeah.
We can't waste any time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's getting close to Halloween, and as you know, Halloween here at the All the Book Show is kind of like our Christmas. And our Christmas is also like our Christmas. So it's a lot
We get two Christmases.
We do. Yeah.
It's like when you have two parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
most people have two.
you know what I mean.
Divorced parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, two Christmases.
Two Christmases.
And the grandparents. Add in grandparents, you get 4 or 5, 8 Christmases in some cases.
8 Christmases?
A lot of divorce in my family, but we don't have to get into that now.
So
anyway.
2 parents per parent.
Yeah. And then divorced grandparents.
Right.
You just got to make the rounds.
Right.
I had a whole circuit when I was a kid, but that's my personal tragedy. We don't need to get into that now.
Your personal tragedy.
Well, we are going to be talking about the Stoker Awards. So these came out earlier in the year. Yeah.
Hey, I'm stoked.
Are you?
To talk about
That's
these.
great. These are the horror writing awards. So we're going to get into these a little later. They came out earlier in the year. We mentioned them when they came out, but we wanted to save really sitting down and talking about them until we were all in the Halloween. See, if I can't have a pumpkin spice latte while talking about the Stoker Awards,
Oh, right. Do you have a pumpkin spice with you?
Well, no, but I mean, I could.
Right.
I have the option.
You can always
to.
listen back to this with the pumpkin spice.
I plan to.
Yeah.
I don't.
Nice spooky candlelit.
I don't really go for the pumpkin spice.
Oh, okay.
That
makes sense.
It was just. It was more just
right.
flavor.
Yeah, I get
Not
it.
flavor in the coffee, but flavor in the episode.
Right.
Stoker Awards coming up a little later. But let's get to it. Let's get to it. Where are the old bookmarks?
What have I been reading? What haven't I been reading?
That's the question.
Basically anything that doesn't have an X-Men on the cover.
That's true.
I have not been reading it.
Yep.
All right, I'll do this real quick.
Okay.
I cut out last week. I think I talked like 6 or 7 X-Men books in individual detail.
Yeah.
For each one, and I cut most of it out
Did
because
you?
I'm like,
Oh.
listen, all you need to know is I've been reading a lot of X-Men
A
books.
real deep dive. Yeah.
This is fun. Goodreads is just taking a little bit. So why don't I tell you what I am reading?
Okay.
I'm reading Stephen King's Institute.
Oh, yes.
The Institute. Hey, no offense to the big guy because I know he could buy me and sell me like 5 times over.
Would he?
Maybe if there was a
nice.
bit of a horror element to it.
He seems nice.
Okay, well, I don't want him to be my enemy.
Okay.
But I don't know why. He writes kids so much. He's been writing kids since he was writing his like first book. Carrie was like teenagers, and then The Shining was a kid.
That's true.
Why can't he write kids, though? Why do they not feel like actual children? And I know like the main kid so far in the Institute is like a genius, but there
Right.
are other kids there. None of them... I don't get it.
I get what you're saying. He has a specific style when writing kids. I'm also reading the Institute, not to jump into my section, but because this is our how many 5 or 6 years we've been reading Stephen King books at Halloween together. So we're both reading the Institute. You're a little farther in it than I am, and I do know what you mean about the kids, but I am enjoying the book so far. Are you liking it?
It's all right so far.
Okay. I was more interested in the first like 50 pages with the Night Knocker. When we switched to the kids, I was a little more...
The Night Knocker buying newspapers with a nickel. That's just...
Oh, it just sounds
like an old...
old-timey.
Stopping by his barbershop.
Sarsaparilla.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're reading the Institute.
It's fine. I'm only like 90 pages in.
Mm-hmm.
I say only 90 pages because it's like a 600-something page book.
Right.
I definitely like reading this. I'm like, I don't understand how this is so big. But he's Stephen King. He can do what he wants when he wants.
Yep.
And what he wanted to do was write the freaking Institute.
That's right.
Okay, so to keep you up to date with my current X-Men reading, I'm about 4 years behind in terms of reading, but that will pick up the pace a little bit. I read Uncanny Avengers Volume 1.
Okay.
I read Extraordinary X-Men Volume 1. I read All New Wolverine Volume 1, and I read All New X-Men Volume 1, and also Uncanny X-Men Volume 1. This is all the stuff that happens after the Secret War, so it's kind of a reboot time for the X-Men. It's a little sad because I often used these like books as I have to catch up to this books.
Right.
Because I think it's when I started reading them on Marvel app, and now I'm there.
You're
I'm
there.
like, oh no, I'm almost going to be caught up.
Yeah.
But I used to read them
4 years behind.
bi-monthly.
Yeah.
So...
I just never, like, I enjoy the X-Men, but I never really know I feel like every time I pick up an X-Men Volume 1, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, the X-Men can be very
There's not a good
obtuse
hop-on
to
point.
get into. Yeah,
That's why I kind of liked the that First Class series they were doing for a while.
Right.
That was just
Out
kind
of
of a
continuity
standalone
kind of
out of
stuff,
continuity. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They can be dense. I mean, when I first started reading, it's like I started reading as it was coming out. I got in good, during the Grant Morrison starting years.
Yeah.
And then, like, I picked, like, Uncanny X-Men 350, where it was, like, Gambit's Dark Secret Revealed is an issue I was trying to get. So I kind of started building my collection around that. Like, I started buying the comics on both sides.
Okay.
That came after and before.
Yeah.
So, like, I just expanded out from there.
Well, that kind of happened with me in Green Lantern.
Yeah.
When I was doing that I'm still doing it,
Yeah.
but when I was in the heart of it, it was like reading the main Green Lantern book and then like, well, what's going on with the Lantern Corps and the Yellow Lanterns? And so, yeah, I know what you mean. It happens.
I also read some of Peter David's X Factor from the early 90s, which you have read.
Yeah.
You thought you had said that last time.
Now
like,
you're
wrong
back
X
to where
Factor.
Nick
This
is. That's fun.
This is part of my retroactive reading. So there you go. A lot
Cool.
of X-Men comics. Did I already talk about Iceman? It's weird. It's trippy
No,
stuff.
but I also read Iceman, so we can talk about that for a minute if you want.
By J.M.
DeMatteis.
J.M. DeMatteis, who also wrote Joker Going Sane, which we talked about, and a bunch of other stuff like Justice League. And also, I think he's working on an Adam Strange short.
Yeah,
for animated
short. A lot of Justice League. He worked a lot with the animated films. We're going to be interviewing the author in the coming weeks here.
This Iceman book is a weird book because I'm not sure who the audience is for. It's not for the
strange.
X-Men fan.
It's very strange. Yeah.
Though I suppose anytime you see Bobby's parents, but they're so different than I've seen them before.
Yeah.
And also, I can't imagine being someone like you.
Yeah.
In like the 80s who was coming off of Spider-Man and Friends.
Yeah.
And then was like, oh, Iceman, I've seen him on the cartoon. Can you imagine like 12-year-old Nick being a huge fan and then picking this up and being like...
I can, because it's pretty similar to 36-year-old Nick's reaction, because I literally was just watching Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends with my son over the weekend.
Right.
And then I read Iceman, and I was just like, what? Because, and we're going to get into this with the author.
Are you watching the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends on DVD?
That your mom gave me.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
But we're going to get into this with the author, because this is a trippy book. And most of the things I've read by this author kind of start normal and then go trippy.
Yeah.
So I really want to know, like, what his... I mean, it's a cliche to say expect the unexpected, but that's exactly what you need to do.
At one point, Iceman stops existing.
Yeah.
And then when he comes back, he's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
And Oblivion, the entity Oblivion is like, oh, nothing, it's fine.
Yeah. He spends a lot of time in his tighty whities, too.
Yeah, he
in
does.
that book.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a strange one.
My daughter, my wife,
that's
my
a strange
mate.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The collection
Sister?
the collection includes
Weird stuff.
the hardcover collection includes a special story that's not you probably didn't read if you were just reading single issues,
Right.
which actually is a pretty solid Iceman story. So
Okay.
I like that.
All
I
right.
like that.
Well, that's it.
Okay.
Just reading The Institute and a bunch of X-Men comics.
Tell me a little about the movie you saw, because we didn't really get into that off mic.
I
and
saw
I'm
the
very-
movie Ad Astra.
Yeah, I'm curious about
I've been
it.
calling it Brad Dadstra because it's Brad Pitt. He's looking for his dad.
Yeah, he's got a
Ad
lot of kids.
Astra.
Oh.
Apparently, it means to the stars.
Oh, okay.
Brad Dastra.
Brad to the stars.
Brad Dastra.
Okay.
It's good. My wife was not a fan of it. She found it a bit depressing and sad because it's about estranged old men who aren't in tune with their feelings going into space,
Oh.
and space stresses her out.
Okay.
Space is very stressful, but to me, it felt kind of like Apocalypse Now meets 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Interesting. Meet Space Cowboys?
No.
Oh.
Well, I guess Tommy Lee Jones is in it.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, there you go.
Very 90s cast. You got Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones, and Liv Tyler.
Ooh, Brad Pitt does not like that. Liv Tyler, who was also in Armageddon.
Yeah,
so a
space-
lot of people who have some space background.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
experience required,
Is this
I
Brad
guess,
Pitt's
for
first
this
time
movie.
to space?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like it, but
Sure,
maybe
yeah.
not.
It
I mean,
always-
he looks like an astronaut, right?
Brad Pitt?
Yeah, like a classic. He just looks like a classic handsome man, like from the 60s.
Sure. All right.
You
Yeah,
don't like Brad Pitt?
it's one of those movies where the imagery starts getting a little abstract at times. It's he's kind of telling you you're getting his inner monologue throughout it. So it gets a little sometimes feels a bit trippy, a bit distant, but it's good. I dug it.
Okay.
More movies like that.
Nice.
So I like
All
that
right.
Astra.
Cool.
But also, yeah, I'm glad I saw it on a big screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Though me and my wife were the only ones there.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, that doesn't sound like a good...
Well, it was a Monday night.
Yeah, but it was a holiday weekend.
7:45 p.m. on a Monday
Okay.
night.
All right. Well, I also saw a movie, moving into my bookmark.
Okay.
I took my son to see The Addams Family,
Oh.
and he liked it.
Nice.
I wasn't sure.
Wasn't
I thought
too spookied?
No, I thought maybe, because they just do weird, disturbing things sometimes.
Right.
And so I thought, maybe this will be upsetting for him. But no, it really wasn't, and he liked it. I'm not really a fan of that style of animation where they're like stick thin and like big, crazy, exaggerated features. Right. So I found it a little unpleasant to look at. But the voice cast was great. It was Charlize Theron was Morticia, and Oscar Isaacs was Gomez. Nick Kroll was Uncle Fester. I mean, Bette Midler was there. Marty Short was there. It was a good cast.
Nice.
It was a good cast. So yeah, we enjoyed that. Pretty fun. It had the vibe. It had the same vibe and they did some nice throwbacks to the classic TV show. You a fan of the TV show?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I never watched it.
We watched it as a kid?
No, I watched I was
Munsters?
the Munsters.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I liked them both.
I was just watching what was on at Nick and Night.
Yeah.
And they didn't have Addams Family.
Really?
Just Munsters.
Huh. Okay.
So.
John Astin is just so funny in that show.
Oh.
Like he just always has that like big creepy smile. And remember when he played the Riddler once on Batman? Adam West?
I didn't watch
he
it.
did. In the second season.
Man, Riddler, speaking of Riddler, we went to a Spirit of Halloween.
Yeah.
You want a Riddler costume that includes pants, a tie, and a jacket?
Yeah.
$65, please.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you going to go as the Riddler?
I've got the frame.
You do?
Yeah.
You absolutely do.
I've got the elephant
I don't get it.
from Aladdin.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. The Will Smith's Aladdin, sure. So I watched that. Eric and I also watched, as part of our Halloween team experience this year, we watched a Roger Corman movie called The Terror.
Yeah.
With Jack Nicholson and Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
And it was quite a ride. I mean, this is like early 60s. Kind of a thrown together production. They had some existing sets. They had a couple of days. They had some big names. And so they're like, let's do it. And so they just like steamrolled through it. So Francis Ford Coppola directed scenes in it. Jack Nicholson directed scenes of it. And then Roger Corman is the one who's listed as the director, who also directed some scenes. But it's a crazy, confusing movie about Jack Nicholson plays a French, with no attempt to sound French, soldier separated from like Napoleon's forces.
I'm part of the French army.
Pretty much. And he sort of falls in love with this girl who may be a demon, who may be a bird, who may be a dead countess.
Yeah, it's
know.
confusing. We don't know if it's a ghost or not.
And spoiler alert, you get to the end, I don't really know still.
This is the only movie Jack Nicholson and Francis Ford Coppola worked on.
Really?
Together.
Together.
You type in Francis Ford Coppola and Jack Nicholson together,
The Terror.
1963.
And it is public domain, so we'll post the link on the Twitter page because I do think it's worth watching. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, and it's captivating. Don't mistake that for me telling you that it's like a great movie, but it is captivating, and we talked about it for a long time afterwards. So anyway, that's what I've been watching. Let me look at the old bookmark. I did finish some stuff. As I mentioned, finished Iceman there. I also read Big Hero 6 by Chris Claremont, and I read New Mutants Volume 1, also by Chris Claremont.
Big Hero 6 was Chris Claremont?
It was,
I did not know that.
It was a strange thing to go back and forth between because New Mutants is what era is that?
80s.
70s? Okay.
Yeah.
And have you read much New Mutants?
No.
This was bland. This was very bland to me. I didn't think the characters stood out at all. They were almost interchangeable. And one of them turned into a wolf. And that's how poorly they were written. But I wasn't really a fan of that. Big Hero 6 was fun. It's very different from the Disney cartoon.
Yeah.
This is from 2006, so it's not the classic Big Hero 6 with Sunfire, but still a pretty good read. I enjoyed reading that.
Oh, that's why it's Chris Claremont. Okay.
I also read Starship Trap by Mel Gilden for my sci-fi book club that I do with some pals. It was not good.
Why'd you turn into a snake?
Well,
during your
because
review?
I was going to hedge it a little bit, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. I found it a little plodding, a little slow. Building blocks that were there were good. Like the actual plot was good, but I just thought execution-wise, it just left you wanting more. So we do have that in our collection, so you're welcome to it. But I wasn't a huge fan of that. And then I read World War Z by Max Brooks. We're doing this for our Halloween book club.
Scary.
And we're going to be talking to Sally Murphy, the Queen of Halloween, and the new director of the Hammondsport Library here in the STLS system. Yeah. Sally's joined us every year for Halloween every year. Every year we've been doing it, basically.
1986.
So she's going to join us on the podcast to talk about World War Z in the coming weeks. I'd never read this before, but was a fan of the movie, which is not similar in any way.
No. Brad Pitt.
And you're a longtime fan of the book.
That's true.
And you've read some of the things around it as well, right?
I read the zombie survival guide.
Okay.
Read it first.
Read it first.
Actually, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
that's back when I was like living in my apartment and was very concerned about zombies.
Mhm.
I didn't have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Zombies are for those who don't have a lot going on.
Can we share some of your old zombie blogs on the Twitter?
Can we?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my
I'm
friend
asking.
back, boy, this would be like in between, like during a summer in between college. Me and my
Uh-huh.
friend, because I was staying at a friend's
Yeah.
house. My other friend came over and we just didn't have anything to do. I'm like, I don't know, you want to film a zombie blog? You know what it was? I had
What?
watched Dr. Horrible in the sing-along blog. I was like, oh, this
Oh.
is a fun concept. Let's do
Uh-huh.
something with this. So we just took a video camera, went down to the basement, and him and I would just sit on chairs talking about life during
Yeah.
a zombie apocalypse.
It's weirdly realistic.
Thank you.
It just feels, I don't know.
Yeah.
It
was the
is.
basement.
It's weirdly realistic.
Every now and then, Brendan went a little crazy. It was a fun time.
Well,
It's
we're
all
going to share
improv.
it. We're going to share it on the All the Book Twitter. I think Halloween's the time to do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of things we share on Twitter, last week you recall that I was talking about the book. I don't
The
even remember
movie
the name of it.
Minority Report.
No, I know, but that was they were talking in the book I was reading, The Warning,
Uh-huh.
by James Patterson and Robinson Wells.
Yeah.
The characters were talking about how Minority Report was an underappreciated Spielberg film.
Right.
And so I put the poll out.
Yeah.
75-25 saying no. We
We
all
all-
like it.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
underrated.
Yeah. There's a difference between underseen
Yeah.
and underrated.
Yeah.
I don't think it's either.
You don't.
I think a lot of people have seen it. I think those who see it like it.
I guess for me,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen it and I loved it. I think it's a great movie. I think we watched it somewhat recently and I
Mhm.
still liked it. But I think that it's not like people know it, but I think of it as like like a blockbuster from when I was a kid. I don't think of it as like a classic. I was like 19.
Yeah.
But I
just
don't-
did the math. I'm like,
But I
was
don't
a
think of it
teenager.
as like a classic
Mhm.
in the same way that I would do like a Jaws or an Indiana Jones or something like that.
Right. Or
So I guess
a,
that's
Munich or Adventures of Tintin.
no. I hated that movie.
Hated Tintin?
I did. Yeah.
Goodness.
Ugh,
This isn't our Spielberg episode.
I didn't like that at all.
Have we done a Spielberg episode?
No. Would
Let's
you
do
like?
it.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe after Halloween.
All right, we'll do that.
in
Anyway,
November.
so
Do you think we can get him on the podcast?
no. So the All the Book Show Twitter gang has spoken, and 75% say no, it's not underappreciated. So sorry,
We all like it.
James Patterson and Robinson Wells.
Yeah. Well.
And then finally, I am currently reading The Institute by Stephen King and Marvel Masterworks Volume 7, which includes Steve Englehart's run writing Just the Beast.
The Beast.
So we spoke to Steve Englehart a while back, and Eric and Hillary actually interviewed Steve
everybody.
Englehart for the Previously on
About
X-Men
X-Men,
podcast
about the
about
Beast.
this Beast thing. So I'm reading this, and then I'm looking forward to that interview dropping
man.
on that as well. That's it for me.
Are you going to
bookmark-wise.
watch, this is kind of connected because Stephen King has a son named Joe Hill who wrote a book called Nosferatu,
Yeah,
which is now a TV show,
right.
which I just ordered for the library.
Oh.
You going to watch it?
Probably not.
Okay.
That's the one with I can't think of his name. Who plays Spock?
Ah, yes. Cillian Murphy.
No.
No, Quentin Quire.
Oh,
Whatever his name
that's
is.
something.
Quentin.
Boy, that's gonna drive me
Quentin
crazy.
something?
No, I don't know.
Zachary Quinto.
Zachary Quinto.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
You know what? Quentin Quire
Also, he
is
was-
Kid Omega in the X-Men.
That'll do it. Zachary Quinto also hilarious in the show So Notorious, starring Tori Spelling.
Oh.
So funny.
Okay.
Anyway,
So, speaking of Tori Spelling, how's
Yeah.
your 90210 podcast going?
pretty good. We're 7 episodes in, and it's
Yeah.
a fun journey back to my youth. So that show's crazy in the first season. We're rewatching Beverly Hills 90210 over on a different podcast, so you can keep an eye out for that. That's it for me, though. Let's turn to some book news. What do we got from the old New York Times?
You know what? We've done this every week for a very long time, and yet this week I forgot to have it up.
I throw it to you, and you
No,
just
we'll have it in just a second.
and you just don't know.
Everybody, hold on. We're going to talk about what are we going to talk about? Oh, the same thing we talk about every episode.
How to take over the
Hardcover
world.
fiction. No,
Oh,
gosh.
sorry.
That's the worst legacy Pinky in the Brain left us.
That's-
People
you're
saying
right.
the same thing we do every night, Pinky,
You're
Pinky.
right.
Every night, every time, everything is the same thing all the time. Don't ask the question what we're going to do because there's always this answer.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
That's right.
My wife says that a lot.
Take it away.
Okay. Hardcover fiction, top 10 for this week.
Take us home.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Number 10, Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. After disappearing for 6 days, a boy emerges from the woods with a voice in his head that sends him on a mission.
Oh, I know who you mean. Who wrote Gwendy's Button Box with Stephen King, right?
Oh,
I think so.
scary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that does look familiar. Yes or no, imaginary friends are the only friends. No, that's too mean. I'm sorry.
Wow.
You have lots of real friends.
Thank you.
No problem.
One of them's even in this room. Oh, it's Halloween, please.
For those who don't know, I just
Yeah.
mimed looking
He
for
was
friends.
looking around
but
trying to find my
It was
friend.
me.
Yep.
Nick and I are friends.
It was you the whole time.
Just because we're co-hosts doesn't mean we can't be friends.
That's true.
We work here
Yeah.
doing this podcast.
Yeah.
But then we go see Jay and Silent Bob get rebooted.
Sometimes we
tonight.
do. Yeah. Sometimes we do. Don't tell the people where we're going to be when we're going to be there.
Well, they don't know where we're going to be.
That's true. Don't. All right.
Hey, speaking of, number 9, Full Throttle by Joe Hill. A collection of short stories, including 2 written with Stephen King.
Oh, I heard
Throttle and In the Tall Grass.
I've heard of him.
Oh, I was at a place and the girl at the counter saw me reading The Institute and said they just read In the Tall Grass, and I had no idea what they were talking about.
I have to do a quick correction.
Mm-hmm.
It was not the guy who wrote Gwendy's Button Box.
Oh.
It was actually the guy who wrote Perks of Being a Wallflower. Stephen Chbosky wrote Perks of Being the Wallflower and wrote the number 10 bestseller here, Imaginary Friend.
Yeah.
It's Richard Chismar who wrote Gwendy's Button Box.
Full Throttle. Number 8, Kilka's Journey by Heather Morris. A 16-year-old who sleeps with a concentration camp commandant. No, wait. Commandant? Oh, yeah. A 16-year-old who sleeps with a concentration camp commandant in order to survive is sentenced to a Siberian prison camp where she cares for the ill.
Interesting.
Dark.
Yeah, it is dark.
Number 7, Vince Flynn, Lethal Agent by Kyle Mills. Kylie Minogue is an Australian pop singer.
She is, yep.
Can't get her out of my head.
Yeah, I guess not.
Her loving is all I think about.
I'm not really into Australian pop from the 90s. But
You watching something?
no.
Audio keeps coming out of your... Oh, that's your foot.
What?
On the desk.
Oh,
Down,
sorry.
Yeah. Boy, you ever go see a movie with Nick and he gets a
Ugh.
little bored? Prepare yourself for the seat in front of you to be squeaked, to be kicked, to be pushed,
Sorry.
to have shoes dragged
sorry.
along the bottom of it.
I've got an active
Nick
mind.
does everything but get up and just start screaming in the aisles. I'm bored.
The gears are always turning, so I can't turn it off. I'm sorry.
That's also his review for James Bond Inspector.
Oh, my gosh.
That's when I
I'll
first
give
learned
you
about
that.
that.
I'll give you
Yeah.
that. James Bond Inspector was a rough watch.
That's how I first learned about Nick's nervous foot tendencies during boring films.
Yep.
All right, so Kyle Mills, Mexican cartels, ISIS, and a possible pandemic bring Mitch Rapp back into action. I'd be more excited if this was a Mexican cartels, ISIS, and a possible birdemic.
That would add an element of chaos.
Yeah, birds.
Yeah.
I get scared just putting birdseed out on my porch. I'm like, what if the birds get mad I don't have the right birdseed and they've been waiting for me to refill this and they just come at me?
I think you'd be fine.
High speed. You think so?
I
Blue
do.
jays are pretty big.
That's true.
I get at least one blue jay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good.
Number 6, The Testament by Margaret Atwood. Number 6. Flippin'.
I guess.
Sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. One secret brings 3 women together as the Republic of Gilead, or Gilead's theocratic regime show signs of decay.
Do you think sometimes, I don't know, like, do you think I should feel obligated to read The Handmaid's Tale since it's such a phenomenon and I have the job that I do?
Yes.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
When you phrase it like that, yes. You should
Fine.
phrase it like that.
Fine.
Number 5, Bloody Genius. I assume this is more like bloody, like violent, rather than like a British person being very upset
Oh,
that
really?
somebody's
See,
genius. Like, he's a bloody genius,
I
he is.
assumed the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what it's about.
John Sanford, 12th book in the Virgil Flowers series.
Oh, I kind of like that
A
series.
fight between a university departments turns deadly. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more humorous depending on the departments.
That's true. Yeah.
So, like, if it's the art department
Yeah.
and...
A little pretentious, maybe.
Yeah, and maybe, like, marketing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
funny. What I just said was funny, Nick.
I guess, yeah.
Number 4, The
Must
Dutch
be from
House.
the art department. I don't get it.
The
I don't get
Dutch
it.
House by Anne Patchett. A sibling relationship is impacted when the family goes from poverty to wealth and back again over the course of
that's
many
right.
decades.
Yeah, every time we get here, I think, oh, that's a rough turnaround.
Yeah, you're poor again.
They're
yeah.
back again. Yeah.
It's rough when you're rich.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
And then you're poor.
Yeah.
And then you're
Yeah.
rich again.
If you're not
Then you're
switching
poor
back
again.
and forth, you never know what you're missing.
That's
You
true.
assume.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Number 3, Where the Crawdads Sing. Delia Owens, a woman survived alone in a marsh, and she becomes a murder suspect.
My wife's reading that right now.
Number 2, The Institute by Stephen King.
Yeah.
Children with special talents are abducted and sequestered in the institution where the sinister staff seeks to extract their gifts through harsh methods.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Having read it and gotten to the character I think they're talking about here,
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's Mr. Sinister anymore.
You don't think it is?
At one point, one of the kids goes like, yeah, it's not like this is the X-Men.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad. Although maybe that's a key that they are in this world.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
the X-Men.
Yeah, I was watching Batwoman, the
Uh-huh.
CW show, second episode. She name drops Wonder Woman, so that opened a lot of doors.
Yeah.
So it could be the same kind of thing.
Did she say something like, "This is why Wonder Woman works alone"?
No, she didn't. She didn't. That's
Did
classic from the George
did-
Clooney Batman.
Did
and
somebody
Robin
else like say they were going to leave, and she was like, "You can't get to Themyscira on that tank of gas.
No,
Come into the garage."
film. Nothing like that.
And then like somebody gets on the phone with Batwoman and is like, "Ma'am, she took the car.
Yeah. Which
The
car?
other car.
The Rolls.
The other car.
The Bentley.
The other car."
And this has been Batman Forever by Nic and Eric.
That'd be fun. Would you want to play Two-Face or the Riddler? You have to play it like Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey.
I think build-wise, I got to give you the Riddler, but if I'm being honest, I think I could bring it home.
I have a frame of a mid-'90s Jim Carrey, everybody.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
You don't think you'd have fun trying to play Tommy Lee Jones's Joker Two-Face?
I think it'd be easier. I think it'd
true.
be easier for
Wouldn't
me.
require
you know?
any
No.
pathos whatsoever.
No nuance or anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was my Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it was
as
pretty
the
good.
Riddler, yes.
That was pretty good.
Outclassed in every way. You want to watch Batman Forever again?
I do a little bit.
We just
yeah,
watched
no,
it.
I
And
know.
you
I
know
do.
what? You know how
I
it
know.
left you.
We talked
sad.
about this. We talked about this in our Batman rewatch episode just a few
that's
episodes
true.
back. I'm going to find the number while you tell us what else is on
Number
there.
1, The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Mhm.
A young man who is gifted with mysterious power becomes part of a war between slaves and the enslaved.
Oh.
That was it. That was number 1.
Oh, okay.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
All right. Are you ready to move on to our
Yeah, I
spotlight?
thought you were going to
Okay.
say something about
I
Batman.
will. I was trying to find. It's episode 195, everybody. We talked about the Nebula Awards, and we talked about us going through all of the Batman movies, which we saw in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're going to talk about the Stoker Awards, so let's play that award music, buddy.
Nic and Eric present the awards.
Hey, I'm stoked for these awards.
You said that already, but I liked it.
Okay.
I liked hearing it a second time. So, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the Bram Stoker Awards come out at StokerCon, which happens usually in the late spring. This last one was May. The next one coming up is April 16th through 19th, 2020. That's in the UK. But that's where each year the Horror Writers Association presents the Bram Stoker Awards for Superior Achievement, named in honor of Bram Stoker, author of the seminal horror work Dracula. The Bram Stoker Awards were instituted immediately after the organization's incorporation in 1987. So let's see. Do you have this in front of you, Eric? Do you want to talk a little bit about our winner for YA?
I've got the book right here in my
Yeah,
hand.
you do.
The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White, author of the Now I Rise series. I'm not sure if that's what it's called. She also wrote Slayer, which was that Buffy the Vampire Slayer like reboot YA book.
Okay.
So, and I Darken. That's what the first book was called in her other trilogy.
Did we feature this on a Sexy New Book Clubs?
No.
Didn't we? Okay,
too
it's
scary.
very familiar to me.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I've just seen the cover. but-
Elizabeth Lavenza hasn't had a proper meal in weeks. Her thin arms are covered with bruises from her caregiver, and she's on the verge of being thrown into the streets until she's brought to the home of Victor Frankenstein, an unsmiling, solitary boy who has everything except a friend.
Oh.
Victor is her escape from misery. Elizabeth does everything she can to make herself indispensable, and it works. She's taken in by the Frankenstein family and rewarded with a warm bed, delicious food, and dresses of the finest silk. Soon, she and Victor are inseparable, but her new life comes at a price. As the years pass, Elizabeth's survival depends on managing. I thought it was man-aging.
Mm-hmm.
On managing Victor's dangerous temper and indulging his every whim, no matter how depraved. Behind her blue eyes and sweet smile lies the calculating heart of a girl determined to stay alive, whatever the cost, as the world she knows is consumed by
That
darkness.
sounds kind of interesting. You know what? Since you have it right here, read a little bit of the first chapter. I'm
Chapter
curious.
1. Here we go.
Yeah.
Part 1. How can I live without thee?
Mm.
Lightning clawed across the sky, tracing veins through the clouds and marking the pulse of the universe itself. I sighed happily as rain slashed the carriage windows and thunder rumbled so loudly we could not even hear the wheels bump when the dirt lane met the cobblestone at the edge of Agulsalt. I should have just said, Vermont.
Yeah.
Justine trembled beside me, a little newborn rabbit, burying her face in my shoulder. Another bolt lit our carriage with bright white clarity before rendering us temporarily deaf with a clap of thunder so loud the windows threatened to loosen.
I'm going to stop you right there. I need someone to read this book and tell me if Justine the rabbit lives or dies, because if that rabbit's going to die in some horrifying way, I can't.
Victor Frankenstein gets at that rabbit, I'm assuming.
That's kind of what I'm assuming, too.
I assume the rabbit dies, but then it's brought back to life, a la a Frankenweenie situation.
Justine. Frank and Justine.
Yeah.
First of all...
Frank and Jess.
I got to tell you, right off the bat, I think that Justine is a fabulous name for a rabbit. So that makes me a little curious.
Okay. I think you're really focusing on this rabbit.
Well, I mean, pet names, it says a lot.
Yeah.
Is this one that you would ever
like
read?
how I call you Cookie Monster.
Here's another fascinating thing. You set up these jokes, and most of the time I think, oh, he's got something, and then I see your eyes glass over, and this look of sheer panic just creeps across your face, and I realize, no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
And then you just blurt something like Cookie Monster, and I feel bad for you.
It's a pet name.
I feel bad for you. All
right,
right,
little Cookie Monster over here.
Thank you. I actually do kind of like it. So anyway, the winner for Superior Achievement in Young Adult Novels for the Stoker Awards, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein.
You know why I can't find the Stoker Awards? I typed in StokerCon.
I sent you the link there for Kirsten White. Here are some of the other nominees for books that came out last year.
Have you read Bram Stoker's Dracula?
I have it.
Oh.
I have a nice fancy copy that I always need to read, and I just never have.
Okay.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let me tell you some of the other nominees for Young Adult. Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. Broken Lands by Jonathan Mayberry. The Night Weaver by Monique Schneemann. Are you familiar with any of these books? They don't sound familiar to me.
Dread Nation, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Do you want to talk about, let's see, I'll tell you Superior Achievement in First Novel. So the nominees for this year were What Should Be Wild by Julia Fine. I Am the River by T.E. Grau.
I Am the Night.
Baby Teeth by Zoj Stage.
Ugh.
The Morehouse by Tony Tremblay. And our winner, The Rust Maidens by Gwendolyn Kist. So let me tell you a little bit.
I'm never picking up a book titled Baby Teeth in my life.
It does sound upsetting, doesn't it? I sent you that link there if you want to take a look at the graphic novel ones while I read this. The Rust Maidens. Something's happening to the girls on Denton Street. It's the summer of 1980 in Cleveland, Ohio, and Phoebe Shaw and her best friend Jacqueline have just graduated high school, only to confront an ugly, uncertain future. Well, you live in Cleveland, so just an arbitrary dig on Ohio for no reason. Across the city, abandoned factories populate the skyline. Meanwhile, at the shore, one strong spark and the Cuyahoga River might catch fire. But none of that compares to what's happening in their own West Side neighborhood. The girls Phoebe and Jacqueline have grown up with are changing. It starts with footprints of dark water on the sidewalk. Then, one by one, the girls' bodies wither away. Their fingernails turning to broken glass, and their bones exposed like corroded metal beneath their flesh. Yikes.
No, thank you.
Alternating between past and present, Phoebe struggles to unravel the mystery of the Rust Maidens and her own unwitting role in the transformation before she loses everything she's held dear, her home, her best friend, and even, perhaps, her own body. Ugh. Yowza. Right?
Somebody please mail that to Nick at his P.O. box.
No, you do not do that. Anyway, that was our winner for Superior Achievement with First Novel. Do you want to talk about the graphic novel nominees?
All right, nominees for Superior Achievement in Graphic Novel is Abbott by Saladin Hamad. Oh, what is he written?
Yeah, I know it's a familiar name.
No, I've read something by him. Oh, okay, you click on it, it sends you nowhere. That's
Sorry.
annoying. All right, well, I've read something by him.
Okay.
Moonshine by Brian Azzarello. Moonshine Volume 2.
I've read lots of things by Brian Azzarello.
Bone Parish by Colin Bunn.
I've read things by Cullen Bunn as well.
Volume 3 Haven by Marjorie Liu. And the winner is Victor Lavelle's Destroyer by Victor Lavelle. Oh, that makes sense.
I can tell you I have read Saladin Ahmed's Black Bolt Volume 1, but he also writes Miles Morales' Spider-Man. He writes The New Exiles. He writes a lot for Marvel. Quicksilver, lots of different things. So he was just a nominee. I'm sorry, I buried the lead. Who was the winner then?
Victor Lavelle's Destroyer by Victor Lavelle. The legacy of Frankenstein's monster collides with the socio-political tension in the present-day United States.
Ooh.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein beseeched his creator for love and companionship, but in 2017, the monster has long discarded notions of peace or inclusion. He's become the destroyer, his only goal to eliminate the scourge of humanity from the planet. In this goal, he initially finds willing partner in Dr. Baker, a descendant of the Frankenstein family who has lost her teenage son after the encounter with the police. While two scientists, Piercy and Byron, initially believed they brought to protect Dr. Baker from the monster, they soon realize that they have to protect the world from the monster and Dr. Baker's wrath.
Wow. Good year for the Frankenstein clan, right?
Yeah.
Finally, Mary Shelley and Frankenstein getting a little recognition in the Halloween season. Finally. Let me tell you, winner. This is the big one, everybody.
dinner.
So call your kids in here and have a seat because I'm going to tell you superior achievement in a novel. The nominees are The Hunger by Alma Katsu,
Speaking of,
Glimpse by Jonathan Mayberry. Oh, he was in the other one as well.
yeah, good for him.
Yeah, in YA. He also wrote Broken Lance.
Yeah.
Double nominee, double loser. That's sad.
Well, you didn't have to phrase it that
Well,
way.
You're right.
Congratulations on your 2 nominations, sir.
That's true. You know what? That's a more Pollyanna approach, and I like that. Glimpse by Jonathan Mayberry. 2-time nominee. Unbury Carol by Josh Mallerman. So I haven't read Unbury Carol, but I did read Bird Box, and I thought it was very well written.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of a goofy premise, but I enjoyed it. Haven't seen the movie.
I was probably watching somebody on Twitch or playing or reading a comic book when my wife and her brother were watching Bird Box.
Yeah.
Had no interest.
Oh, okay.
Continues to this day.
Really?
My lack of interest. It has not grown. I guess my lack of interest has grown, but my interest hasn't grown.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be ragging on the nominees for this, but this next one's a little rough. Dracul by J.D. Barker and Dacre Stoker.
Dacre Stoker.
Who is, I believe, maybe the great-grandson?
Why is this rough?
Great-grand-nephew of Bram Stoker. Because he's the great-grand-nephew of Bram Stoker. He was nominated for a Stoker Award and didn't win it.
Oh, sure,
I just mean,
yeah,
his name's in the...
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But
I was nominated for the Eric's Award.
And you didn't get it.
You know there's an Eric.com?
I didn't.
Yeah.
What's it about?
Eric's.
Really?
Yeah. Or at
Just
least it was.
Eric's.
Here, I'll double check to see if
Thank
that's
you.
still going.
I have heard about this, actually. This is a Dracula book. This actually got decent reviews. This is one we have in our collection. I was a little curious about it myself, but again, not the winner. The winner is The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. So I have not read that one because I tried to read, what is that one called over there?
I'm sorry, I'm on Eric.com.
Okay. I tried to read a Paul Tremblay book a few years.
Head full of ghosts.
Head full of ghosts. My wife got it for me. Was like, oh, this sounds like it'd be spooky fun.
Scared you poopless.
It did. It really did. Scared me to death. So I never finished it. And now I feel like maybe I can handle it. Maybe I'll go back and read it again. Or maybe I'll just read the new one, Cabin at the End of the World. The Bram Stoker Award-winning author of A Head Full of Ghosts. So this is a 2-time win here for our buddy Paul Tremblay. An inventive twist to the home invasion horror story in a heart-palpitating novel of psychological suspense that recalls Stephen King's Misery, Ruth Ware's In a Dark, Dark Wood, and Jack Ketchum's cult hit The Girl Next Door. 7-year-old Wen and her parents, Eric and Andrew, are vacationing at a remote cabin on a quiet New Hampshire lake.
Did you say Eric and Andrew?
Yes.
My brother's name is Andrew.
Well, this Eric and Andrew are a couple. So I don't know if you want to make that comparison. Their closest neighbors are more than 2 miles in either direction along a rutted dirt road. One afternoon, as Wen catches grasshoppers in their front yard, a stranger unexpectedly appears in the driveway. Leonard is the largest man Wen has ever seen, but he is young, friendly, and he wins her over almost instantly. Leonard and Wen talk and play until Leonard abruptly apologizes and tells Wen, none of what's going to happen is your fault. Ooh. That's when you get out.
Yeah.
That's when you leave.
Yeah.
3 more strangers then arrive at the cabin carrying an undefinable, menacing objects. As Wen sprints inside to warn her parents, Leonard calls out, your dads won't want to let us in, Wen, but they have to. We need your help to save the world. Thus begins an unbearably tense, gripping tale of paranoia, sacrifice, apocalypse, and survival that escalates to a shattering conclusion, one in which the fate of a loving family and quite possibly all of humanity are entwined. The Cabin at the End of the World is a masterpiece of terror and suspense from the fantastically fertile imaginations of Paul Tremblay.
Ugh. Hey, I made a necklace out of baby teeth.
No, stop talking about baby teeth.
Multiple copies of the book Baby T.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a very heavy necklace.
Please don't say baby T. Please don't say it again.
Hey, good news.
Yes.
Eric.com, still up and running. It's a site dedicated to Eric's.
Just Eric's.
Yeah.
That's great.
Did you know Eric, a two-syllable boy's name of Germanic and Norse origin, means ever-kingly, powerful ruler?
Really?
Mhm.
So it's one of those ironic nicknames.
That was mean.
Sorry. Anyway, that's the winner of this year's.
27th most popular boy's name.
Wow.
At least back when this site was first
Yeah,
put up.
cool. Not even unique then. That's
Name,
great.
spell it. 69% of us spell it ERIC,
Uh-huh.
and that is the correct spelling.
69% of people we interact with think you spell your name ERIK.
Sure, that's true. Yeah.
All right. Well, the Bram Stoker Awards, you can find the winners. There's other categories as well. You can find all the nominees, past winners, Lifetime Achievements Award. A lot of interesting stuff from the Bram Stoker Awards at thebramstokerawards.com, and we'll have that on Twitter, so you can take a look at that. The next batch of books and nominees are going to be announced in April of 2020. So we'll probably mention them again then and talk about them around Halloween. So if you haven't read these or any of the books mentioned, let us know. We'll track you down a copy and you can read it, report back to us.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an assignment involved in this.
Yeah.
Why are you holding that scary book, Eric?
I'm holding A Head Full of Ghosts, a novel by Paul Tremblay.
Okay.
It says here, I stood still and stared at her. When she said, I am possessed, I pictured a giant green hand closing over her, hiding her from me forever.
No thanks.
All right.
All right. That's also a Stoker winner though. Head Full of Ghosts.
Really?
One
So he's
Stoker few years
multiple,
back.
yeah.
He is.
Two times nominee, 2 times winner.
2 times.
That-
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
that's
That sounds good. That's
Yeah.
when you want to highlight
Yeah.
the amount of nominations
Yes.
versus wins.
though they do that to Meryl Streep all the time.
That's true.
Meryl Streep nominated for 27 wins.
Yeah, Glenn Close has
Yeah.
been nominated like 1,000,000 times and has never won.
Well, there was steep competition with 101 Dalmatians came out.
That's true. Yeah, and then don't even get me started about when 102 Dalmatians
Yeah.
came out. She was
Yeah.
robbed then. That's going to do it for the Bram Stoker Awards. Let's
I
talk.
think we're too casual about Cruella de Vil. She wants to skin puppies.
Yeah. It's a good topic for
Why
Halloween.
is Emma Stone playing her? Why is this character getting her own movie?
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Really?
It's just bizarre.
It is
that
bizarre.
like we slightly even
wants to
romanticize Cruella de Vil
Kill
in
and
any way.
skin puppies.
Yeah, and then we laugh about it.
Yikes.
No.
Did you ever see the live action 101 Dalmatians?
Yeah, in theaters.
Jeff Daniels? I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I was never interested in seeing the second one.
I didn't see the second one.
I read the book when I was a kid. I kind of liked the
Mm.
book. It's very different.
As a kid, seeing it, I was upset that the dogs didn't talk. I wrote a review for my local apartment complex's newsletter.
Really?
I was upset that the dogs didn't talk and
Yeah.
that they didn't seem to have to go through as many tribulations as they did in the
Huh.
animated film.
Interesting.
So I was very critical at a young age.
I guess you
of,
were.
of remakes.
Yeah, enterprising kid.
So
Let's talk library news. Some of the things we have up and coming. We have New York Ghosts with Chris Johnson, which is going to be right here in the exhibition room on the 16th of October.
right here, right at the 16th,
7 o'clock.
right now.
Following night on October 17th, we have Nate and Kate in concert. There's a fun duo.
Yeah.
Nate's a juggler, and so you
You
don't
have to with 8 kids.
you don't expect there to be juggling, but
Yeah.
then he juggles.
Because I said Nate and Kate plus 8.
Right.
Was that what they were called?
It was John and Kate plus 8.
Oh, yeah.
And that ended in a bitter public divorce.
bad. Yeah, that was nasty.
Nate and Kate still together. We also have our puppy play date and our winter coat drive happening on
Cruella de Vil's. Oh my gosh! Wait, it's a puppy play date and
Yeah.
a coat drive.
Oh my gosh.
Why are these so close together,
You're right.
Nick?
That's true. That is spooky.
Who's heading this up?
It is part of our Great Give Back programming, which is a statewide initiative to do programming that gives back to the community. So hope you can join us for that.
Listen, Cruella de Vil will be nowhere near this. The coats are a separate event. It's
Yeah,
a separate thing,
totally different.
not a puppy thing.
Finally, at the end of the month, we have the murder mystery down in the auditorium
Ooh.
called Write Me a Murder, written by Frederick Knott, author of Dial M for Murder, Wait Until Dark, both famous movies there.
Yeah.
7 o'clock on Saturday the 26th, 2 o'clock matinee on Sunday the 27th, sponsored by the Friends, so it's free of charge.
Be there or be
Good time.
scared.
I like that. Yep. All right, what about you? Anything you want to mention?
Tea night is Wednesdays at 5:30 to 7:30. November 1st, we're showing The Lion King,
Ooh.
the live action.
Oh.
Also, October 25th, I'm going to get my wisdom teeth out.
Oh.
All 4 of them.
Oh, boy.
So this is maybe the second to last
Oh, boy.
episode while I have got all my teeth in me.
I got mine out the day before my 21st birthday,
Mhm.
and I listened to the original cast recording of Wicked many
Oh.
times
I don't know what I'm
while
going
I
to do.
was in bed.
Maybe not that.
Well, maybe give it a shot.
Yeah.
It worked for me.
I asked the guy, I'm like, do these really have to come out? Because I'm 33 years old.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, they do.
He said eventually they're going to have to come out, and it's going to get worse as I get older.
To be fair, he stands to gain substantially by you taking them out.
That's what I thought, too.
Maybe ask an impartial third party.
I chose the gas and everything.
You're going to go out.
I was like, I want to be legally dead for however long this phone goes on for.
Yep.
So
that's a good call.
Speaking of baby teeth, I'm about to lose mine.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wisdom teeth, they'll never be anymore.
What an excellent and horrifying transition that was. Thanks for connecting those two.
Yeah.
All right.
What have you met?
Yeah.
What if the scary story, baby teeth, is about a person who's like in their mid-40s and they still have all their baby teeth?
I knew someone like that.
Really?
It was a little creepy.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for the All the Book Show this week. We got upcoming interviews with author J.M. DeMatteis, author Mel Gilden coming down the pike. We're going to be talking with Sally Murphy about World War Z. Lots of good times ahead here on the All the Book Show.
I think I creeped myself out a little bit with that baby teeth thing.
I think you did too.
I think I'm kind of like in a bad place right now.
I'm going to talk Eric down. We'll see you next time.